I'm holding a crisp $100 bill in my hand. It's just a piece of paper, but for most of us, it represents possibility, choices, and sometimes even a little bit of hope. When you think about it, $100 can feel like a lot or a little, depending on where you are in life. For some, it's a night out. For others, it's a week's worth of groceries or a utility bill paid on time. Most people would spend it on dinner, shoes, or gas. It's easy to let it slip away on things that bring quick satisfaction, but are soon forgotten. We're all used to trading money for comfort, convenience, or a little treat after a long week. But a year ago, I decided to do something different. Instead of spending it, I invested it. I wanted to see what would happen if I took this small sum and put it to work, rather than letting it disappear into my daily routine. I wanted to see if a single $100 bill could actually grow into something more. Could it become the seed for something bigger, or would it just sit there, barely changing at all? I was curious if the stories we hear about investing and building wealth could really start with such a small amount. This isn't a get-rich-quick story, it's about what really happens when you start small. I wasn't expecting to double my money overnight or stumble onto a secret formula. I wanted to test the power of patience, discipline, and consistency, even when the numbers seem tiny. Can you build wealth if you don't have thousands to start with? Or is that just a myth we tell ourselves to feel better about not trying? I wondered if the real secret was simply starting, no matter how small the amount. So I tracked every dollar every month, for a year. I watched the numbers go up and down, sometimes by just a few cents. I kept a journal of my thoughts, my doubts, and my small victories along the way. The journey was full of excitement, boredom, and doubt. There were days when I felt like giving up, and others when I was surprised by how much I was learning. Not just about money, but about myself, and my habits. But what I learned went far beyond the final number. It was about the process, the discipline, and the mindset shift that comes from paying attention to your money, no matter how small the amount. This is a story about patience, mindset, and the power of time. It's about realizing that even the smallest steps can lead to meaningful change if you stick with them long enough. Let's break down what happened when I put $100 to work. I'll show you the ups, the downs, and the unexpected lessons that came from this simple experiment. The results might just change how you think about money, and maybe even inspire you to start your own experiment, no matter how small. The idea started with a friend who said investing was only for the rich. What's the point of investing $100? You'll make a few bucks at best. I understood the temptation to just spend it, but I wanted to prove that even a small start matters. My own journey began with tiny steps, saving every dollar I could. This experiment was about showing that the habit of investing is more important than the amount. I treated this $100 as seriously as if it were $100,000. I tracked its progress, faced the reality, and shared every detail. This was for anyone who ever wondered if a small amount could become something more. I was ready to find out. Before we get to the results, let's talk about compound interest, the engine behind this experiment. It's a concept that might seem simple at first glance, but its power is truly transformative when you understand how it works. Compound interest is simply interest earning interest. This means that not only does your initial investment grow, but the interest it earns also starts to generate interest. With simple interest, you earn the same amount every year. For example, if you invest $100 at a 10% interest rate, you'll earn $10 each year, consistently. With compound interest, your earnings start earning too. So, in the first year, you earn $10 on your $100, but in the second year, you earn interest on $110, not just the original $100. For example, invest $100 at 10%. Year 1, you get $10. Year 2, you earn interest on $110, not just $100. This might seem like a small difference at first, but it adds up over time. That extra dollar is the start of a snowball. Just like a snowball rolling down a hill, it picks up more snow and grows larger and larger. Over 10 years, $100 with simple interest becomes $200. With compound interest, it's $259. The difference becomes more pronounced the longer you let it grow. The longer you let it grow, the more dramatic the results. Compound interest rewards patience. It's like planting a tree. The longer it grows, the more fruit it bears. Your money works for you, and then the money it earns works for you, too. This creates a powerful cycle of growth that can significantly increase your wealth over time. This feedback loop accelerates growth. The more time you give it, the faster it grows, creating a compounding effect that can be truly astonishing. It's the secret sauce the wealthy use, and it's available to anyone. You don't need a lot of money to start, you just need time and patience. Even if you're starting with just $100. The key is to start now and let time do the work for you. That's the magic I wanted to test. By understanding and leveraging compound interest, you can set yourself on a path to financial growth and stability. I put my $100 into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund and waited. I checked my account daily, expecting magic. After a week I had $99.50, down 50 cents. After a month I'd made 80 cents. It was underwhelming and honestly a little embarrassing. This is where most people quit, the valley of disappointment. You put in effort, but the results are tiny. It's like going to the gym and not seeing muscles after a week. But I'd committed to a year, so I kept going. I reminded myself, compound interest starts slow, then accelerates. The first month tested my patience, not my investment strategy. The biggest hurdle was fighting my own impatience. I had to trust the process, even when it felt pointless. That's the real test for any investor. By month 3, my account hit $102.50. The growth in 2 months was more than double the first month. It was small, but the acceleration was real. For the first time, I felt encouraged. I checked my account less often and focused on the trend. At 6 months I'd made over $5. Not much, but it was about momentum, not the amount. The snowball was rolling even if it was tiny. My perspective shifted. I stopped thinking about what $100 could have bought. I started thinking about what $105 could become. Regret faded. Optimism grew. The first glimmer of hope became a steady light. I was finally looking forward. Months 6 to 10 were when the magic became visible. My balance reached $108.80. Almost as much growth in 4 months as in the first 6. The snowball effect was real. Interest was earning interest. I charted my progress, and the curve started to bend upward. Seeing the visual made it feel real and exciting. The returns were now coming from the money I'd already earned. My only job was to be patient. I stopped questioning if it was worth it. I started imagining what could happen with more money or more time. The experiment became a window into the power of long-term investing. Around month 8, the market dipped. My account dropped from $107 to $104. Progress wiped out in days. It was discouraging and made quitting tempting. This is when fear makes people sell low. But I reminded myself, I was investing in the whole market, not gambling. Historically, markets recover. Quitting now would mean missing the rebound. I held on, trusting the process. A few weeks later, my balance bounced back and hit new highs. The biggest lesson? Emotional resilience is key to investing. Staying invested beats trying to time the market. 1 year later, I logged into my account feeling a mix of curiosity and anticipation. I remembered the day I started this experiment, wondering if such a small step could really make a difference. Now, it was time to see the results for myself. My $100 had become $110.47. A 10.47% return in just 12 months. Watching that number tick up even by a small amount was surprisingly satisfying. It was more than just a few extra dollars, it was proof that my money was quietly working for me, growing in the background while I went about my life. Sure, it's not a fortune and it won't change my life overnight, but it's real, tangible evidence that the system works. The process is simple, and the results are there for anyone willing to give it a try. What's even more powerful is that this process doesn't change whether you invest $100 or $1 million. The principles are the same for everyone, no matter your starting point or background. The only real difference is the scale. The more you put in, the more you get out. But the rules don't change. This experiment proves something important. You don't need to be wealthy to start building wealth. Anyone can begin, no matter how small the amount. The hardest part is often just taking that first step. You just need to start, even if it feels insignificant at first. For example, if I'd started with $1,000 instead of $100, I'd have $1,104 after a year. That's a much more noticeable gain, and it shows how even small differences in your starting amount can add up quickly. And if I'd added $100 every month, my balance would have grown to over $1,360. Consistency is key. Regular contributions, even if they're small, can make a huge impact over time. But the real magic happens when you let your money grow for years. If I leave that original $100 to grow at 10% a year, in 10 years it becomes $259. In 20 years, it's $672. And in 30 years, it's $1,744. That's the power of compounding. Your money earning money year after year. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's tiny and slow, but as it gathers more snow, it grows faster and faster. Time is what makes that snowball unstoppable. Your greatest financial tool isn't how much money you have, it's how much time you give your money to grow. The earlier you start, the more powerful your results will be. Think of it like planting a tree. The sooner you plant it, the bigger and stronger it will become. The same goes for your investments. Don't wait until you feel ready or until you have enough. There's never a perfect time to start, but every day you wait is a missed opportunity for growth. Every year you wait is a year of growth you can't get back. Start now, no matter how small, and let time do the heavy lifting for you. We've seen the slow start, the doubts, and the proof of growth. The $10.47 gain isn't about the money, it's about the principle. Small, consistent actions plus time create extraordinary results. The amount doesn't matter. What matters is starting now. You can open an account and invest today. Imagine yourself a year from now, celebrating your own progress. The path is simple and accessible to everyone. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Here's my challenge. Commit to starting today with whatever you have. Go to the comments and write, "I'm starting." Make it public, hold yourself accountable. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Let's get growing.